because I know to be nails in the blood. You know, that is the question. Not to be. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. While I don't. To be. Or not to be. To be. Bloody poet here. How you going? That is the question. How are you? To be is the question. Am I in frame? I think I'm in frame. Alright. Speak the speech, I pray you. So, we're in Glebe. Well, we're no longer in Cairns, came back down to Sydney. House sitting in Glebe, because we're actually not from Cairns, we're from Sydney. That flesh is here too. And I was, it's mine in black, and everything is slow on the splash. The volume is high. I'm really tempted to see if I was actually in frame, but that means I can't remember. Anyway, so I just looked at a video that I recorded, yes, and I was feeling ambitious. Speak the speech, I pray you. Yeah, I tackled the subject of personality. This is take 2. I tackled the subject of personality traits, and as I pronounced it to you. Anyway, I was watching a video back, and I didn't know how. So I filmed a lot since then. I watched it back, and I'm like, oh, I was full, trippingly on the tongue, and I was full of I was jittery, I was nervous, and immediately I'm thinking, I'm going to go upstairs and do a take 2 of this. I couldn't get up here quick enough to split the ears of the groundlings. To suffer. Do the take 2. What was I saying about partiality? What was I going to say? Whose end both at the first and now was and is to hold as it were the pitcher up to nature. Now we're going to start off. But if you mouth it as many of our players do, yes, wow. Okay, so I have a tendency. I'm regurgitating I'm semi-regurgitating what I said in that previous video. Okay, I have, let me get my thoughts. What dreams may come. Before I came up here to do this video. And I feel pains. Walk that quiet from me. Oh, it offends me to the soul. There, robustious, periwig-pated fellow, tear of passion to tatters, two very rags, 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 rags. Now, what was I going to say? That, where was I in my thought? Where was I now in my thought? Where was I tell you, I want to know where I was. Up in the teeth of love, in the deep-rooted joint, oh yeah, 5 fathom deep. But I just say all my own thoughts about, all my own thoughts. Sometimes I don't research things, I just say all my own thoughts about it. So much. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer. Twist it around. There's a fan. That's my fan. That's my fan. Ring-a-ding-ding. And so I did that. And I suppose that perhaps I did that through a bit of anxiety, that was my way of communicating with people. The insolence of office and spurns. What was I going to say? What was I going to say? That is the question. Sibling grace in the face of despair known only to the face. To be or not to be, whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, to sleep, to be or to roll. And now, with your unique beauty, the antique flavour in you, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the wheel. Well, now, come over here, Dolores. Well, well, just a little thing I wanted to show you. Okay. Well, now, let's see here. I suppose you want to have a bit of a thing of a cigar here, but I was kind of thinking about the nuts and bolts of the situation, you see. And I could write so you have a look at this. So this is the take 2 to that video I did where I was all bundle of nerves and all jittery and all that. And I'm going to come upstairs and do a take 2 of that. Because the slings and the arrows of outrageous fortune to suffer. Because of the reason within the reason, i.e. within I do. I wanted to come up and do it. That's right. So, sunny outside. You on the sunny side? You are on the sunny side. Sunny outside day. Ja, mir halt was an von Kammer. No. Rock in a steady farm. And the pinpoint that I saw you in, we both traveled south to the deep core. And the spurns were high, be, to be, to be, to be, for one who thinks upon the pain or not to be a flesh wounds that imprison their waking hours, to suffer, whether it is or not to question, not to question, not to question. That is question, is the question, question. That is the question. Whether it is suffer, sea of troubles, to grunt and sweat, to sleep. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer, that you all step to suffer. To be, to suffer. That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to suffer. Hold toward the mirror up to nature. Whether it is or not. Whether it is inside a grey day where we stay for relief in front of ourselves, when the skeleton hides in the green place. 6 and 1. Bizarre blue man, and the hall of clocks, and the parrot squawks. I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. It's nobler in the mind to suffer. Nor do not soil the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing. That is the question. Question. To show virtue of her own feature, not to be. outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles. And by opposing, end them to sleep. And by asleep we say, and by asleep to say we
Here, spinning around, cycle of life, deep recess, consciousness, of the consciousness of mind.
we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
Take out, as we take our day-to-day spells, in the glitch, in the high turn, and we feel how we can feel our minds in the small displacement of the whereabouts. We feel the man about town in his inclination,
Which of the angry man blisters and plagues, because their breath with sweet meats tainted are.
without his particular sense, and we dispel from the origin of the true ones
That flesh is here too.
with a quick path to the number.
Devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream.
It is inherent. It is inherent to find a place. We capture the one moment during a day that could describe the essence, of what we feel, what we see. Patterns in the rhyme, patterns within the calculus. The substance of letters and numbers, the ingredients within the frame are what I will say. Typical phrase within your mind. Okay, so suppose that I was awake. Suppose that I could be green, blue, essence, the essence of fulfillment, the essence of a character,
night by night through lovers' brains. And I thought, what do you see in the mirror? The mirror question. From a personal place, when you look in the mirror question. And he said to me, no more, and by a sleep we say to end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks. That flesh is here too. 'Tis a consummation, devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, the chance to dream. And he said to me, be not too tame neither. What is left and what is remaining. But let your discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action. With this special observance that you all step the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is for the purpose of playing. Why not? If I was stopped here. I was switching between the radio stations. Why? Because I was just sitting. Then fly to others that we know not of. As I was down the hallway, was listening to the music. I was in the race, and I said, I was stressed that I got home when the boat hands up playing on yours. How do they make you feel, the mirrors? From whose bond no traveller returns. Can you remember when you look in the mirror? You press play to start the music. Swims in your way. Of love. For anything so overdone is from the purpose for it not to be. That is the that all different too. Sometimes it comes here with a toothpick's tail, tickling a parson's nose. Believe that. Why? What? Miles happen. I'll tell you what's happened. I was listening to that radio station and I got that on that. So I think I was. I'll tell you what. I don't know. My about town. I know a lot. Whether it be here or whether it is. I saw it. What we did. Do you see pain? Do you see strength? It flows with particles that they're a part of you, they're a part of everything, a part of life. No, the yes and the whereabouts of what you think. She takes hold of the treasure chest that keeps them in tow. The pangs of disprized love. Do you have a sense of fulfillment? And makes us rather bear those ills we have. Do you have a sense of beauty? delicious meals in the mind suffers. Not today was a special day. It was a special day. Why is it not for? Because of the nightmares I had before. With a bare bodkin, who would these fables be? But that the dread must give us pause to suffer. To suffer the slings and the arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks. That flesh is here too, this consummation, avowedly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. That is the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil. To show her own virtue. Grotty girl, things, the deflatable souls, the deflatable souls in their minds, tangled in the wilderness of our suppression, the daydream of love. What's in their minds? Tangling. Is it in your mind? Whether it is not likely, it's not in your mind. Tight in the corner of my non-knowledge. Could be in your mind. But what's in your mind is and the very age and body of the time is form and pressure. What do you have? Scroll up. What do they have? Yes. Oh well, what was that? In his peril of disconnection from the truth, with his face in the sand, as his emotions melt down along the rope that is tied around his neck. The river, as it flows toward the pyramid, the stopping point, as they see it on their golden age that they sit through in a small delusion, realized by the lady in green on their road. But it's a little bit of truth to the individual where he lay amidst the rubble with the bones. Their pattern that the navigational point was correct. Yes. When I saw the niche, a sacred point, a sacred point where the energy flows, pulse. The mannequins, the secret one, formula, reasoning, raises their vibration, their frequency. She was 8 stitches above. She was 8 stitches ahead of herself, of the souls, of the bliss, in the kaleidoscope hospital. The cup of joy found her. We seek the body, the brim of laughter, inside, natural essence outside of you, within chaos. I soothe myself. The separate stance and the weight at the bottom of the sexual moment, we exit at the rear and follow to the dark. We came in search of my tear and the isolated man that brings the bass and frets of yesterday, the forgotten note lying on the floor. I hear from that emotion go, and beyond the faded man in the precious hours. And I watch the girl rise, and I see the alignment at the sunrise for us. The ghosts arm in arm. In the future I see the ghosts arm in arm. In the creeping seconds, with the drawing we stay awake in a quiet doom, and the void women in red. As I perch the glow of the dirty morning, the sensitive fragment man, and enter the colourful room, the drapes are drawn shut, and the fumes speak in their welcoming gesture of finesse. In that fractious second, to the picture, to the warmth, the tiny urge, and the living place to possess those that stay in her longitude. The tinker, and we despair at the dinner table in ruthless time that you inhale. We cannot see the length you abstain from us. Your manner shown from her index finger toward us, and his point to her remains secret. The dexterity of the verse, the virtue, her forced calm, ate with you in the solitude of your adorning haven, in languish, the silent person in the shaded room with you. You exclude the vibrant penance from you with ignorance the veil you take as your shelter from the face near you. Rest on my sympathy, on the pale reason, the etiquette, the trouble with the woman in pink. She says about her frustration with her discreet tone. I digress. In black, infectious temptation on your arm, the delay. We catch the true. We feel inside the seed. We feel inside the seed. I try to push. I try to push the tear away. Stopped in the past. By yourself. You smile on your face. The intermission won our sentiments. I saw the green look, the luminous garment, the crease in its elegance, a glistening angle as the sun tilts down on the fur, on the fur. You are the math inside of another on abrasion day. Oh, activate the swab. They activate the swab. Swab nature. With a quivering naked satisfaction with the ruins in the distance, she climbed carefully into the carriage and stole the beauty seat with her Pontiac heart and the smell of leather. And cotton. The smell of leather and cotton in the air. I brought the ale to the lads. Brought the ale to the ladies. They're giving me style and cue you in the old west room. And lend to you on the off day in an unsettled manner. We found the ones that want to hibernate in the west. The heretic leaned down from his famous spot and touched her heart. She shivered briefly in the slow stain. They in the rain paved their way to the sumptuous house, and they consumed the view in the forest. They see the frightened soldier with his lights on in the dark, and we defeat the old lesson in the locust town. The nostalgic feel. Allah. Really. The smell of leather and cotton in the air. They brought the ale to the lads. brought out of Venice, and given the star, and kill you, in the old west, from them to you in the off day, in an unsettled manner. The old one, like they want to hibernate in the last heretic leaned down from his famous spot and touched her. She shivered briefly, and slow, straight, they in the rain paved their way to the sumptuous host, and they consume the view and thirst. They see the frightened soldier with his lights on in the dark, and we defeat the old lesson in the locust town, the nostalgic feel in the age of the bones, and we witness the dig in the dirt, and they and the soil digger in the black heart and his blackened hat, and that was them with his blackened hat, and the giver of time and the forgiver of those who wronged on the clock, on the fortune. Then they found their shame. They looked around, and who to blame? They looked around, who to blame or who to trust? They are the scrutiny, the malice. We have a different moon on our shoulder. We motion the tide, the shake in their seat. We saw them who spoke a fist. I calmed down after night, and the prowler voice in me went dull. We saw the insane, and the D went yellow, and you have blue in your eyes. And you have blue in your eyes. The day went yellow, and you had blue in your eyes. Oh, wait, theatre was. To be or not to be. That is the question. To suffer. But let your discretion be your tutor. Run a mill. Suit the action to the word, like the apple in an eye. The word to the action, with this special observance. Oh, we ran home that you to suffer or not to be. That is the question. I include nothing to look, but they feel. They cannot be so. When we take the others, it came down hill slowly to her grace, where she received the goodness. in my desire. And I hang that painting on the wall, and I praised with a sincere face. I praised with a sincere voice the lonely one, the one who apes, grasp the meaning of the lazy clown who rests deep in the afternoon sunshine. Old. Here too it seems that I come by you late at night, where we have our collection of thoughts. Carried away. Stabilize the man in the suit at the junction. Where are the irons? Shot with the lady that comes in with a sturdy face. To collaborate. I see you, and I come down in a stream of hope. I hear her, and we think of the day in a fine tune. And I hear her words to me, sunken in the thought of pain and love. Finishing in black, I see noise, and I see eyes of the clown. When do you speak to me in the dream of the isolated nothing? There's the rub. Find the meaning. Here too. With you. With you. Down the lane, into the new place, into the comfort place. Against the blue background.
Second paragraph.
Be not too tame neither, or step, not the whether it is nobler to suffer, nobler in the mind, question. Whether it is that flesh, it is no flesh. It is flesh, it is no flesh nobler, devour it is no flesh nobler, shocks. Flesh is nobler, flesh shocks. Flesh be, it is shocks. Perchance to dream, to suffer. Question, whether it is nobler in them, or this mortal coil, that is the question. Whether it is nobler to suffer, whether it is not to suffer, whether it is or not to, that is mine, to suffer something after in the mind, suffer, undiscovered country, puzzle, reply to others, not all. The laws delay the insolence of office and the spur that patient of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make, grunt and sweat. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is signalled over the pale cast of thought, over the pale thought, the pale thought. Then I see enterprises of great pith, and moment. With this regard, their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Well, now, just before we begin, so just fill in this little thing here, just a little nuts and bolts right here. Well, now, from the to bring a concept forth, to bridge the gap between the useless one and the hope spread down to suffer, not to suffer upon the rest of his giftings, along their rhythmic thoughts as they gaze, they gather in all the splendor of the stories, and they send their value along the steady pipe, and the image of the robot that gathers their intuition, and the story house that involve their manners. They placed their belief in piles on the table. Their brains, their connection are deep. Their soul chamber things, and they're shocked. And reveals the revelation that they wander about. With a sneer, she can take them down to their other language that presses them against the wall. And they reveal the nonsense. What are you doing in the building that makes noise? What
is this sort of thing anyway? Well, I looked up into the window. What were you doing looking in the window there? I speak to me in the gaze of your reflection. Bold direction. Upon the avenue of trust. Well, they are liberated with their own stitches. I'm hearing in the place of anger. I hold down the key to my existence. In the green, I see in the green. Consciousness thought it was too tall. The importance of realization as I sought myself out in the delicate hours, in the heart of the rationale that could be twisted in illusion. And he makes a notch in the language that contemplation, erratic semblance. There is a quiet man. The grave. Dictation. Onto the jewel in black. The illusion of man. Take that tooth and break the cord. Nothing. The surface off. Intertwine your belief with the understanding of pain. You
exasperating words that articulate a falling joy. The fumble around for a sense of belonging that we know of for existence. All along, when I travel to my sail, when I saw my love, oh,